Hello everybody, welcome back to Roadrunner Training Projects. Today I'm going to be talking about how you can run a faster 5K. Whether you're a 30-minute 5K runner, 25-minute 5K runner, 20-minute 5K runner, maybe even trying to break 17 minutes in the 5K. All of these tips I'm about to give you will help you do that on your own, with maybe a little bit of research involved on your part. However, if you are trying to run maybe closer to 16 minutes for the 5K, I'm going to recommend a coach who can write a custom plan for you. Generally, when we're starting to get close to 17 minutes, it definitely gets a lot harder to start dropping time. You're going to be a little bit more scientific about it and have somebody who knows what they're doing on your side. Also, if you're still looking for somebody to write your training plans, I recommend subscribing to this channel and tuning in every Monday. Starting this Monday at noon, Denver Mountain Standard Time, I will be posting my workout plans after my vlog post on those Mondays. So it's going to be a weekly plan. It's going to cover every single day of the week. There's going to be a beginner plan, an intermediate plan, and an advanced plan. The advanced plan, however, is more of that, maybe just look at under 17 minutes for the 5K. For women, probably under 19 or 20 minutes for the 5K. Again, if you want to go even faster than that and you're getting close to that 17-minute barrier, then I'm going to recommend looking for a coach who can write a custom plan for you. If you guys want to reach out to me and want me to write your training, then hit me up. I'll actually put my email in the description below, my coaching email, so you can contact me as well. Or you can visit my website, which will also be in the description below. Feel free to visit my social media, anything like that as well. And you can contact me through any of those mediums, and I will respond as quickly as possible. Alright, for any of you returners, I don't know if any of you have noticed, but I did get a haircut. I didn't go to a haircut place, actually. My fiance did it, and I think she did a pretty good job. So I'm kind of stoked about him. It's great to have short hair again and not have to deal with the bedhead every morning and the crazy hair and all that. So definitely stoked about that. Maybe I'll have her do it again in the future. I don't think she wants to do it again in the future, though. It did take us a while. We actually have a video of it. I'll be posting my other YouTube channel if you guys want to check that out. It's called Brandon and Abby. We haven't actually posted any videos yet. We'll be starting this Monday, and I'll actually be posting that haircut video later on in the week, most likely. So definitely tune into that. Alright, instead of just watching me talk about training, you guys actually get to watch me try to make noon jello for the first time. So this might be a little bit entertaining, but don't get too distracted by it because I'm still talking about how to run a faster 5K. Let's dive right in. In my coaching and personal experience, I recommend for trying to lengthen your runs out a little bit. So typically what this means is we want to be hitting around 40 minutes at a time for our easier runs or longer runs. Workout days are a little bit different. You're just hitting the system that you're aiming for or whatever the objective of that day is. So we want to lengthen out those. So for example, if you're hitting 30 minutes on your easy days, we want to try to get to about 40 minutes. 40 minutes is about that sweet spot to really start working that aerobic system. The 5K has a huge portion of it being aerobic. So we want to really work that aerobic aspect as much as we can. So if this means that you have to reduce the days that you run in a week to not go over your mileage by adding in these 40-minute long easier run days, then yeah, take a day off. Take an extra day off. Allow yourself to get those 40-minute runs in for those easier days, medium long run days, and long run days. Long run days you're probably talking about over an hour. But for the most part, the 40 minutes is going to be for easy runs and any kind of mileage runs. If you can't run 40 minutes straight, then take breaks. Set intervals, so maybe you have 4 10-minute intervals, or maybe you have 2 20-minute intervals. But the key is we want to shorten this rest and amount of intervals taken. So you have to shorten one at a time. So if you're doing 10-minute intervals with, let's say, 2 minutes of walking in between, you want to try to shorten that down maybe to 1 minute, then 0. Then once you get down to that 1 minute mark, like you drop from 2 to 1 minute, then you want to go down and actually get rid of that rest completely. So now you're down to 2 separate 20-minute bouts, and maybe you're going to start again at 2 minutes, and then you'll drop it down the next week to 1 minute, and then the next week down, so you can just do a full 40 minutes. Or maybe doing 30 minutes, then 10 minutes. 10 minutes, maybe just a tad bit quicker, or something like that. Kind of play around with it, see what works for you. That's going to be the most important. Alright, my second point is that you need to be able to run faster than 5K pace. So what does this mean? This means you need to be running 3K, 2 mile, or faster. So that's VO2 max or faster. So for some days, after your easy runs and stuff, you're going to have strides, which are going to be roughly 800 meters to mile pace is what I normally recommend. But then you're going to have some days where you're actually doing some like VO2 max workouts, where you kind of have an equal rest in between reps. And what this allows you to do, this allows you to run a 5K pace and be a lot more comfortable doing so compared to if you were just to run and train at 5K pace. So now you're running faster paces, so comparatively, 5K pace feels just a little bit easier than it would have if you were to be just training at 5K, at specifically your 5K race pace. So now you're training at 2-mile race pace or 3K race pace. That just kind of almost tricks that body and actually makes adaptations that are for that quicker race or the 2-mile 3K race. Alright, looking at the other end of the spectrum, we also want to run slower than 5K pace, but for longer bouts now. So now we're talking about running at roughly like anaerobic threshold pace, maybe aerobic threshold pace. If you're early in your training, you run aerobic threshold pace, and then that's about roughly marathon pace. And then anaerobic threshold pace, if you're a little bit coming up a little bit closer to that 5K, maybe you're a month or two out. Now you're starting to run some anaerobic threshold pace. So what does this look like? I typically like to do what I call, and what's been popularized by actually Tin Man, is called critical velocity, or Tom Schwartz. He calls it critical velocity, which is essentially 10K to 15K race pace. And I actually have a video on that that I did earlier that you can actually watch. It's very scientific though, might bore you a little bit if you're not looking to get really scientific into this. So what essentially this is, a good workout for this would be like Ks with a minute to minute 30 rest. Maybe you start at a minute 30, then you drop down to a minute, or you lengthen the reps, or you drop the pace down just a little bit. So kind of play around with that and see what works best for you, but only drop one thing at a time. Don't be dropping multiple things at a time. With any workout, I do not recommend that. Or even with mileage, I don't recommend increasing mileage and intensity at the same time. That's normally how people get injured. So we want to avoid that, stay as healthy as we can, train as long as we can, and as consistent as we can. So if you're looking and you're like, how do I know what my 10K, 15K race pace is? How do I know what my 2-mile race pace is? I haven't run one in a long time or haven't run one ever. You can look up based on some other times that you've run. If you haven't run any times, I recommend just getting out, doing a little bit of a time trial, figuring out like maybe a mile time trial. Plug that into Tin Man's calculator. So he actually has a calculator online. I'll try to pop that link in the description as well. But it'll give you CV pace, VO2 max, threshold, anaerobic threshold, and aerobic threshold, and stuff like that too. So yeah, I'll pop that calculator in the description below, so check that out. Alright, now we're on the middle ground. So you actually want to be running 5K pace too. But that is normally something that I reserve closer to the race. So you're a month out from the race, you're on your last kind of 4 weeks of training or whatnot, maybe it's last 5 weeks of training. You want to start hitting some 5K race pace stuff. So we're not just hitting anaerobic or aerobic work anymore, aerobic thresholds anymore, but now we're diving in and we're working some 5K race pace stuff, getting rid of some of that maybe longer stuff where you're just above 5K race pace, or I mean a little bit slower with the 10K and the anaerobic threshold workout. But these, typically you want a lot of rest to kind of let your body recover so you can hit the paces pretty easily. Maybe you divide it up into sets and so on. So that's where it gets kind of tricky and complicated. But again, you can check out my training I'm posting weekly, and I can set you guys up for that, or you can even get a custom plan from me as well. Alright, getting on to my last little training tip. Typically, you're going to want to get a long run in about every week to 2 weeks. So, for example, I like to get a long run in every week. But let's say you have a race kind of leading up to your target race. So just kind of test your fitness and see where you're at. Maybe go out and kind of enjoy racing a little bit, because that's what we're training for, right? Is a 5K race. So why not? Maybe you go out and run a 2-mile race. Maybe you go out and run a 5K race, but your goal is to go sub 20, and just kind of seeing where you're at relative, and just reassessing your paces and things like that. I recommend doing it maybe every 4 weeks, kind of testing yourself and see where you're at. But with this week, I recommend skipping the long run. If you have a race that week, skip the long run. Do one workout that week. Don't do 2 workouts. Just one race, and then do a shortened long run. Maybe it's like 2 medium long runs that week or something like that. But typically, if you have this scenario, then that's where you would have the next week where you do the long run. So you're getting a long run every 2 weeks. So that's kind of why I'm saying 1 to 2 weeks. But I want to see most of my athletes, and for myself, I try to get a long run in every week. and that's going to be on the weekends or when I have the most time to dedicate to a run. All right, kind of some like housekeeping things for running and kind of preventing everybody from getting injured is you're going to want to make sure that you are being smart about your mileage, increasing that correctly. That's a whole other can of worms, though, that I can address in another video. But don't increase intensity and mileage at the same time. Try not to increase your mileage way too much. Try to keep it going up just very steady, very little bit at a time. You don't need to be jumping up to crazy mileage like 70-mile weeks, 100-mile weeks all of a sudden. Again, check out my training plans on Mondays and kind of get a good idea of what you should be doing, and you can kind of use those to kind of train, or you can even use those to modify those just a little bit and make them more custom to yourself as well. But we also want to make sure that we have pretty good running form. So easy days and longer run days, I recommend really working on your running form. It's really hard when you're doing a workout to work on running form, but if you're kind of getting a little bit bored on easy runs, try to look up some good running form videos. I'll be posting some of those as well, and try to start working on that every easy run, long run, any kind of mileage run, really. I want to make sure that we have the right gear for what we're looking for. So what this typically means is we're looking for the right shoes. So if we're doing a lot of trail running, looking for trail shoes. If you're doing a lot of road running, looking for road shoes. But also, we want to make sure that we have a good shoe. So what does that mean? That means we want a shoe probably over $100 when it's not on sale. So if you're getting shoes at like Walmart or like Dick's Sporting Goods for like $40, it's probably not going to be the most ideal shoe. Plus, you should probably be getting fit for your shoe and getting the right structure of shoe. Again, I'll make videos on this, and just go, if before I make a video and you want to get a good pair of shoes, go to your run specialty store, have them look at your gait and fit you for a good pair of shoes. You want to make sure you're in the right structure, and you want to make sure that the shoe is going to hold up and the foam is going to last for roughly 300 to 450 miles for most shoes and most people, but it can differ between the shoes and the people. So sometimes you can get like 500, 600 miles out of a shoe. It really depends though. So talk to your run specialty experts and or shoe experts and see what they have to say on that. So you can also bring in your old shoes, ask them if they're worn out. For the most part, you're going to have some pretty honest run specialty people. For the most part, at least I know in Colorado, we don't work on commission, so we're not going to get any benefit from telling you that the shoe's worn out. Lastly, we got to make sure that we're putting the time and dedication that it's going to take to accomplish our goals in the 5K. Typically what I say is when you're going up in distance for the race, it's going to take more time and more dedication to accomplish your goals. So it makes sense. I mean, a marathon, you're going to have to be doing longer long runs, half marathon, longer long runs. For the 5K, it still takes quite a bit of time and dedication, but it also depends on what caliber you want to be in the 5K. So if you're looking to break 30 minutes in the 5K, you maybe don't have to be running 6 to 7 days a week. But if you're trying to break 17 minutes in the 5K, you bet you should be running most likely 6 to 7 days a week, maybe even putting in some second runs in some of those days as well. So we got to take a step back and also evaluate our training. So if, let's say, your calf is kind of aching, or you're just really exhausted and you don't feel like it's going to benefit you to run, then you need to take that day off. You shouldn't just take the day off because, I'm too busy, I'm at work all day, and you get back from work and you didn't run the morning, so now you have to run at night and you're already exhausted. That's different from being exhausted from being overly exhausted from another workout or really sore the next day. Maybe even ask somebody who's close to you and see what they have to offer on advice on what you should do. That's what I'm always doing with my fiance. I'm like, I really feel guilty about not running, but my calf's been kind of hurt. And she's like, yeah, don't run. So definitely take a step back or ask somebody else, and they can definitely help you out and kind of guide you through the process. Because it can be hard to kind of look at something objectively and determine whether it's going to benefit you or not. Alright guys, thanks for sticking around for the whole video. Hope you guys really enjoyed watching me trying to make noon jello while talking about 5K training. If you guys want to see more videos, hit the thumbs up button right below this video and also subscribe to the channel. And remember, on Mondays, starting this next Monday, I will be posting weekly workouts for beginners, intermediate, and advanced runners. So hit that subscribe button to catch those. So I'll catch you guys later.